Good morning, all. Today we'll be discussing about Brand24, which is a social media monitoring and analytics tool which uses AI as well as machine learning to provide insights into brands. So, what is Brand24? So, it's a website where it does social listening and it also does monitoring, and it provides insights into brand mentions and online reputation. If you ask how it is related to AI, it is that Brand24, it uses AI-powered sentiment analysis to categorize mentions as positive, neutral, or negative. It also uses NLP techniques to analyze large amounts of text data across social media, blogs, forums, and other platforms. And also, it uses AI algorithms to filter and prioritize relevant mentions, ensuring that, the brand is focusing on actionable data. So, this GitHub report gives you a whole brief of how Brand24 works and how you can use for competitive analysis. And without any further ado, let's move on to how Brand24 works. So, as any website, you can log in. And once you log in, you can sign up for free as well. And once you sign up, you get a 15-day free trial, after which the pricing depends, which we can move on to the last part. Now, once you sign up, you'll have a pop-up which will ask you to enter keywords or key phrases. So this is where you have to enter which brand you want to monitor. So this is basically used by companies to analyze their positive and negative mentions. So I want to, for example, analyze the brand Coca-Cola. So I can enter keywords and hashtags, and I'm going to say Coca-Cola, and then I'm going to say Coke. I'm going to say, I also want to, you can also enter the competitive brands as well so that you can see how that brand is working. So I'm also going to enter Pepsi, and I'm also going to enter, let's say, hashtag Coca, and so on and so forth. So next, now I want to track, and mentions are when the particular brand is mentioned in a post or a website or a blog. So is it all languages or how? So currently I'm just going to choose English and I'm going to create a project. So once I create a project, yes, so this is how your dashboard will look like once I create the project. So the mentions, as you can see on the left side, you have mentions, summary, AI insights, analysis, and AI brand assistant, topic analysis, comparison, sources, influencers. Now, if you see, the main and important thing right now that shows is depending on the days, what are the mentions in reach? How has it been since 17 December to 16th of Jan? What the analysis looks like. So in the mentions in reach, like I said, from 17 Jan, December to 16 Jan, how has it been? What is this? This is a graph that you can filter by date, weeks, months to understand how the brand has been performing, how the growth has been. Was there a decline? Was there? This is basically the number of mentions, and you can see how many reaches were there. And the sources, if you can see right here, it is based on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, videos, news, podcasts, forums, blogs, and multiple. As you scroll down, you can see that how they were mentioned and where they were mentioned. For example, in this particular, it was mentioned that elsewhere in Washington, the Coca-Cola company gifted Trump a special commemorative bottle. etc., etc. So it gives you a deep analysis of where and when the particular brand was mentioned, and was it a positive mention or a negative mention, and so on and so forth. So, like for example, I can see, depending on weeks, how it has been. Like, this has been the mention in the reach. Were there, like I said, mentioned about sentiment analysis before? Was it a negative? I want to see about all the negative comments that was reached. And this is all the negative comments and website we was mentioned on YouTube, on Quora, on Reddit. The brand was mentioned as a negative. So most brands want to understand and analyze where they went wrong and how they can improve. So Brands24 is an amazing website where you can do this. Helps you give you a deep insight and analysis of the brand that you choose. Now, if I go to the summary section, in the summary section, it tells you, gives you a whole gist about the brand that you have selected. So, how many mentions were there, and how many reaches, interactions, how many were positive sentiments, how many were negative sentiments, so on and so forth. Here again, you can filter it by date, by months, by weeks, and here which public profiles mentioned it the most, and whose were the profiles that helped reach the brand, get a better reach for the brand, and particular stats, and everything is present in the summary section. The AI insights, what this is it gives you a whole insight on what the summary is telling you about. So the summary is basically submitted in the insight section, and it gives you, it is AI generates a whole new section for you where it tells you about Coca-Cola's, how the impact has been, how the diversity has been, and cultural impact, and it gives you how the trends has been. So see, it says substantial increase in overall mentions from 917 in the previous period to 37.9K in the current period. So you might ask how this is usable. So it helps companies have a proper SWOT analysis for them. They can perform SWOT analysis based on these AI insights generated, and then understand and analyze where they can do better and how they can do better. It tells you about all the positive and negatives in sentiments as well. And it recommends the brand, but based on what the insights generated, it gives you recommendations. So, for example, the first recommendation is asking you to develop targeted marketing campaigns that further strengthen Coca-Cola connection to holiday celebrations based on success seen during the Christmas and New Year period, and gives you a whole recommendation for it. The analysis section is again more in depth. It tells you mentions from public profiles and who mentioned, which are the most popular mentions, and it gives you an overview of everything in depth. You can there is in the comparison page, I would say that's where you can compare your brand to another brand, and you can see and understand how it is helpful. So as you can see, Brands24 is a great web for analysis. So if you ask me what are the key takeaways that Brand24 helped me understand about Coca-Cola, is that, it helps utilize high impact hashtags. It collaborates with influencers for authentic engagement. It focuses on trending topics. It gives you a in-depth analysis of the sentiments that are related to the mentions, whether it was positive, negative. It gives you recommendations and more. So why use Brand24? Initially, the first and major point is it creates brand awareness and visibility. And then it gives you customer insights. It tells you how the customer is using the brand, or how the brand is being portrayed by the customer. and it gives you competitive intelligence. It helps you monitor competitive strategies, analyze the competitors' campaigns to identify. So even in the project, you can choose, for example, Coca-Cola can go and choose Pepsi and then analyze their brand and how they are doing. And based on the AI recommendations given there, they can perform use those and understand how they Coca-Cola can do better. This is not just about one brand. Any brand, even if you are starting up a new company or you are doing a startup and you're settled, you can do an analysis of your brand, your company here to understand how you can do better and what can help you. So this is all about Brands24. This is a brief about it. And there is a guide in the repo which you can find in the description below. Thank you.